How's everybody doing today? Today I'm going to talk to you guys about a few different ways that you can modify the front rack position for a front squat. So a lot of times you'll see that if somebody can't get into a front squat, people will just modify it and have them do a back squat or something like that. And there are actually quite a few different ways that we can get somebody that maybe has some limited mobility in their shoulders, and they're working on getting the flexibility to get into a proper front rack position, or they've got some sort of a temporary injury and they just can't get into a good front rack position. So we'll talk about a few different ways to do that. And I'll show you a couple reps with each one to give you guys some ideas to hopefully help you get your clients doing a front squat instead of having to move to some other sort of movement. All right, so the first one that we're going to talk about is just the no hands front squat or zombie front squat. I probably wouldn't have your beginners do this because it can be challenging if you end up missing, dumping it off, and you don't want to have them end up hitting themselves on the hands. But it's exactly what it sounds like. You just put the bar in really close to your neck, hands come up straight out in front of you so that the bar is still resting on the proper shelf that we want to see in the front squat. You just unrack it and do your squats.
Right.
All right, the second one we're going to talk about is the, I've always heard it called the I Dream of Jeannie squat from the old I Dream of Jeannie TV show with Barbara Eden. So you're going to get the bar in your good front rack position again, get it on that shelf, and then you're just going to cross your arms in front of you this way, and then unrack it and do your squats. All right, third we're going to talk about is really a modified version of the last one. If you noticed, I had a tough time even getting my arms crossed over all the way in that last one. And your hands will barely be able to babysit the bar using the I Dream of Jeannie hand position. This one, you'll be able to actually push the bar back into your body a little bit. So I like it a little bit better than the cross your arms one. So same idea, you're going to get the bar right into that good front rack position, and then I'm just going to use my hands. I use my thumb and my first finger to push the bar back into my neck and keep it in that good front rack position. So you just unrack it and do your squats. All right, fourth way that we're going to talk about is utilizing some straps. These are figure 8 straps. I like these because you can put your hand through the loop and it'll give you a little bit more secure grip on the bar in a good, more secure front rack position. The other thing I like about doing it this way is that your arms will be in closer to the front rack position that you would have if you had your hands on the bar. So you're able to keep your, it's just a better front rack position here with these. So same idea, wrap these around the bar, put your hands through the loops, and then you're just going to step forward, get into your good front rack position again, and then you'll use the straps to babysit the bar onto your shoulders, unrack it, and do your squats. All right, last way we're going to talk about, this is, if you saw that last video with the straps and you're going, I don't have any of those, great. You can just use a couple of gym towels. So if these were dry erase marker board erase towels for us for several years. So you just wrap those around the bar the same way that you would the figure of 8 straps. And you can use regular lifting straps as well. You're just going to wrap these around the bar, grab onto them, and again, get into your good front rack position here. This will allow you to get into, again, a more similar one like you would get in the receiving position of a clean. Get into your front rack, unrack it, and do your squats. All right, and remember, these are just a few ways that you can use to modify a front rack position so that somebody can do some front squats with the rest of the class. They don't feel singled out having to do a different exercise or something like that. These should be used in conjunction with somebody doing their stretching, doing their mobility work, so that they're working towards getting into a proper front rack position with their hands on the bar. That's the ideal that we'd like to see everybody get to. But these are a few things that you can use until you get there. Or if somebody has an injury, rods in their wrist, something like that, and they can work on stretching all they want to, they're never going to get there. These are some ways that'll allow them to do a front squat and get the load on the front side of their body. So thanks for watching.